During the month of October, you will continue to evolve your awakened state of being. Throughout September, we have received so many energetic upgrades, especially with the eclipse season, which then actually concludes beginning of October on October the 2nd. But then for the rest of the month, throughout October, you're really meant to integrate all these energetic upgrades that you have received in September. You're then also meant to really embody all these changes and evolve more into that awakened state of being, that soul self that you have grown into throughout September and the eclipse season. And in this video, I want to share with you the key dates of October so you can mark your calendar for those, and also the key things that you should be aware of so you can really make the most out of the energies of October, because now it's really that time to really let it all settle, to integrate, but not just to then sit around and just spending time on integrating, but no, really moving forward, integrating why you're moving forward, and really being that more awakened, more aligned, more centered soul self that you have grown into because of all the energetic upgrades we received throughout September. So let's start out with the key dates. Now, October is definitely going to be more of a slower month on an energetic level. We don't have a lot of cosmic dates. We have at the beginning of the month, we have the new moon and the solar eclipse on October the 2nd. So that's a power day of the month. So we have the new moon on the 2nd with the key theme of that there's a core alignment happening. And then with the solar eclipse, your transformation now concludes. Everything that was really kickstarted with the beginning of the eclipse in September now comes to conclusion with the new moon solar eclipse on October the 2nd. So that is really a big day, a big cosmic day. I really want to invite you, take time out that day. Now, I also have some light language activations coming out for those cosmic dates as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. But ideally, you want to then also tune into the forecast, but take some time out, especially on October the 2nd, because that really concludes all that transformative experience that you have had that was really kickstarted with the lunar eclipse in September. And then October the 17th, we have the full moon. And the key theme for the full moon is that there's a timeline shift that is happening. And it's all really to assist us in really aligning ourselves even more to that more awakened, more centered, more aligned soul self that we have grown into. Collectively, we're also raising in frequency as well. We're tapping into a higher timeline as well. So here I want to invite you, take some time out on those cosmic dates, because then you can really tune into the energies. And I have forecasts coming out too, and like I said, the light language, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I release those videos. And if you're already a subscribed member, then definitely stay tuned. Those videos are coming out very soon. But now let's talk about the key things that I think are important for you to know for October so you can really make the most out of what's really available this month. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that there's really now a time of integration that needs to happen, because with all the shifts, the changes, the upgrades that were received in September, we now need time to let it integrate. Without integration, we can't just move forward, because then we're really missing something, right? So we need some time to integrate. So the transformation really concludes with the solar eclipse on the 2nd, but then for the rest of the month, you're really meant to integrate all the energetic upgrades, all the shifts, all the downloads, all the ideas, all that you have received throughout September. You're really meant to integrate all that throughout October. But here, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's not just about you really just meditating a lot and integrating. No, it's about you need to move forward as well. You're integrating as you are in motion, as you are moving forward. That is really important, because if you're just spending time on just integrating, you're also missing an important point, because as you're moving forward, you continue to integrate. Now, you may even have some times where you actually feel quite triggered as well, where that old self of you is trying to peek its head, and you may have some times and days where you may feel that inner turmoil because you are shifting into that more awakened soul self. Now here, what I want to invite you to do is, because it can be easy to get frustrated, feeling stuck or whatnot, but just know that you are in the transition. So here, it's okay to feel the discomfort, to maybe give your inner child, your younger self, your old self, time to really just vent, to make itself known, but just do that with intention. Okay, I am integrating. Sometimes that old self just needs time to vent that I don't want this, I don't like this. but you're just integrating that and you're just letting it go. You're just kind of giving it that time and space to then integrate into that new you, that more awakened you. But the key for October is really to integrate it, to embody, and then to be it. Really stepping into that, embracing all the shifts, the changes, the upgrades that you received throughout September. Then the second thing I want you to know is that there's really that call to fully step into and embody the heightened state of being, the awareness, the frequency that you have grown into or evolved into throughout September. You're really being asked to no longer hold back, to no longer hide any parts of you, but to really live and show up as that more awakened soul self that you have grown into. This is really important because it's often easy to want to hide parts of ourselves, to hold back, to limit ourselves, to not really embrace all of who we are out of fear that others may not approve, that others may judge, or things like that. But now it's really the invitation to embrace it all. Embrace all of you without holding back, without filters, without hiding behind any mask, but really be your truest, authentic self. You have received so many upgrades throughout September. Like I said, September was a big month, and now it's really, you're meant to be that. Be that version that you have grown into because of all these energetic upgrades that you received throughout September and the eclipse season. There's really that call for you to really fully embrace that, to really step into that, to show up as that more awakened soul self that you are. Then the third thing I want you to know is that now there's also an invitation to really embrace a more heart-centered, aligned, and deeply connected state of being. Meaning bringing more calmness into your day, more stillness, more compassion, really living more from the heart. When you start showing up in that way and really bringing more calmness and stillness in your day, for one, you're also more connected. You're not as bogged down by all these things that are happening left and right, but you're more centered in your life. You're more grounded in your life. You're more grounded in who you are. And when you are really showing up in that way, when you're really embracing that more aligned, heart-centered state of being, then you are showing up as your true, authentic self. Then things also become easier in your life as well. And you're really meant to bring that more compassion, that open-heartedness into all areas of your life, in the interaction that you have with other people, in the things that you do, in the people you connect with, the things you say even towards yourself as well. Because oftentimes we can be quite harsh with ourselves, and now that also is an invitation to be more compassionate towards ourselves as well, to also bring more of an open-heartedness into our life. Because when you have more of an open heart, you actually also open yourself up to more opportunities, to more experiences, more higher experience and things like that. So this is really the invitation now, is to really embrace that more heart-centered, aligned, and deeply connected state of being. Then the fourth thing I want you to know is that throughout October, you're also actually evolving on a spiritual and soul level. And here the invitation is to really connect more with soul, to let soul guide you, let soul lead you. Before you take any action, maybe tune in first to see, okay, is this in alignment? Is this to my highest and greatest good? And if not, well, what is instead? Really to stay in that soul-aligned state of going about life. That will also make your life so much easier, because like I said, this month is all about really integrating and evolving your awakened state of being. So throughout this month, you may actually realize or feel called to go within more, to connect more, to slow down more, to maybe even meditate more, to become still more often. You may then also feel drawn to more spiritual studies, because now there's also that invitation to embrace more of a soul-led, spiritual infused life, where you may also then feel called to embrace on spiritual practices, spiritual teachings, and things like that. Basically anything that you can do that helps you connect more with soul, with your soul self. And here I want to extend an invitation to maybe consider joining me in Transcendence. That's my monthly membership where we come together on a weekly basis, where we have weekly live coaching calls, monthly workshops, we have a private community, and there's so much available inside Transcendence to help you live a more soul-aligned, spiritual-led life, to awaken more, to transcend into the higher state of being. So if that's of interest to you, there's a link in the description below. Right now, you can actually join Transcendence for free. Try it out for 7 days to see if Transcendence is really the right fit for you. So if that is of interest to you, like I said, link is in the description below. I would be honored if you were to join me and all the other members inside Transcendence. But then the fifth thing I want you to know is that now is also the invitations to pay it forward. And what I mean with that is be the way shower, be the guide, be the leader, be the mentor, be the light to others. And here, this does not necessarily need to mean that you need to start a spiritual business or, start a YouTube channel or anything like that. It does not mean that. But by you continue doing your work, by you walking your own walk, you become the silent teacher, so to speak, because you are leading by example. You're showing others how to live a more heart-centered, more soul-aligned life, and that gives them then the invitation to then follow your lead. But then, of course, if you are feeling called to start a spiritual business, maybe start a YouTube channel, or if you already are a spiritual practitioner and then evolving what you have been doing, then follow that. Follow that call to really pay it forward, because you have gone through a lot of changes and upgrades. And if it was quite intense for you, that meant that you needed all that to then be the way shower to others, to then help others, to pay it forward. And you went through all the shifts and changes and upgrades and maybe even challenging times to basically speed up your awakening process, so you can then basically pay it forward and then lend your hand to others, be the guide to others, be the mentor, the healer, the guide, the way shower, the light to others. But it's important that you walk your own walk, not just talking about these things, but no, you're actually walking your own walk to model this higher way of being. And this will then help those who haven't quite found their way, who may actually feel quite lost, to maybe find their way now as well. If you're modeling to them how to do it, how to go about life in a more soul-aligned, more soul-inspired way of going about life. But now it's really the invitation to be the guide to those who seek guidance and a way ahead. So whatever you feel called to do, step into that, embrace that, but walk your own walk. Be the light to others by you modeling how to live a more awakened, soul-led life, a heart-centered way of going about life. Now, here are the key things I want you to know about October. I hope you enjoyed this video so far. Now, I still want to share with you also how to make the most out of the energies of October. But if you enjoyed this video so far, do me a favor, hit the like button. Maybe leave me a comment below. Let me know. Are you maybe feeling that already, that sense of integration that is happening now? I would love to know. Leave me a comment below. Let me know. But now, the way you can make the most out of the energies of October is to prepare yourself, because much will be asked of you this month. Now, in a different way of how things were last month, because now it's really about the integration and the embodiment of all the things that you have experienced, all the upgrades that you received, but then also be it. Really moving forward, not just getting stuck in procrastination and just sitting around and, I need to integrate. No, it's really time to really move forward in that more aligned, heart-centered way. Really stepping into that, being that. Showing up as that truest, authentic self that you have grown into because of all that happened in September. And here's also to no longer hold back or hide behind any mask or limit yourself in any way, but no, to really embrace all of who you've grown into. That is really the most challenging thing that might happen to you this month, is the challenge of really embracing that, stepping into that. Because as you're integrating, you got to step into that. You got to move forward. But here then also, the invitation is to be open to all the downloads and the insights that you have received throughout September up until this point, and then act on it. Really taking the steps, moving forward. October is all about really moving forward. It's integrating and moving forward all at the same time. Acting on those ideas that you received, the downloads that you received, and do so with courage and conviction and confidence. Because your time has come now. You have gone through some intense energetic upgrades in September. And it was all to help you prepare for that next step for you, that next phase of your life, to then be the light to others, to pay it forward, to create the life on your terms, to be the creator of your own destiny. Your time is now to do that, to step into that. And if you would like some help, then consider joining me in Transcendence, where I can assist you on an ongoing basis to overcome any challenges, any setbacks, and really help you really step into your truest authentic self to go after what you truly want. So like I said, if that is of interest to you, link is in the description below. But thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this October forecast, that you now have somewhat of a better understanding of how to really make the most out of what's available in October, and that you do make the most out of it, but also, of course, walking your own walk. So thanks so much for being here. Now definitely be sure to check out these two videos here. One is a light language activation to transform and transcend. That will definitely help you with this as well. And then also another video about the benefits of joining a spiritual community. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.